a white Jeep on the 1200 block of McMinn Street. The passenger, identified as Jahivier Lowe, ran away from officers when they closed in on the Jeep, and police then said that they suspiciously discovered findings like money, drug pills, and a loaded weapon. Lowe was arrested along with Javon Lewis, who was driving the Jeep. Lewis faces a charge of owning a firearm without a license, and Lowe is being charged for multiple occasions, including possession of drug paraphernalia, multiple accounts of controlled substances, and running after being caught. As the age of electricity in cars has expanded, Beaver County will have another high-tech way to fuel their vehicles in Monaca thanks to funding. According to PennDOT, the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure gave $7 million to develop a new charging station for electric vehicles, specifically at the Get-Go near Exit 39 in Center Township. This new electric station is the sixth one that is available currently in Beaver County, and the project is part of a 5-year span for PennDOT to earn $171.5 million to advance the framework for electric vehicles in the future. Get-Go has been sold by Giant Eagle to the Canadian conglomerate Couche-Tard, which is an operation of convenience stores and gas stations. One of the reasons for Get-Go being sold is the goal to place emphasis on the MyPerks program and to plan for its expansion. Approval is still needed from the Federal Trade Commission, and the sale will be in its closing stages in 2025. Bridgewater is about to hit the mini golf putting greens as they host their second annual Bridgewater Open from noon to 5 p.m. on August 31st. The event will be a fundraiser for the nonprofit Legacies Alive, who supports those who lost loved ones who served in the military. Businesses throughout Bridgewater will have their own custom holes as a walk-through mini golf round held throughout the area. The entrance fee is $200 for foursomes, and you can register by calling 724-728-0222. For the first time ever, Kennywood is hosting a 21 and over night on August 30th. That day, Kennywood will provide a closer look for parkgoers at their scary Phantom Fall Fest experiences and admission to popular rides, including the Jackrabbit. They will also be invited to a Halloween party with both a DJ and alcoholic beverages, but only if they show their ID and possess a provided wristband before the park closes at 10 p.m. There will also be midnight activities for late-night fun as well. And TSA at Pittsburgh International Airport has intercepted yet another gun in someone's luggage. An Indiana County man was caught with a loaded .38 caliber firearm and a total of 12 bullets, 6 exposed and 6 in the gun's magazine. Security had to stop their x-ray machine until the gun was taken away from the luggage, and airport passengers could be fined up to $15,000 for going through TSA security with a weapon in their baggage. This newscast is being brought to you by St. Barnabas.
Falling in love is one thing. Having anxiety about falling is a whole different subject. If you or a family member are concerned about falling, and yes, either up or down the stairs, or maybe even out of bed, St. Barnabas has a special message and some ideas just for you. Years of experience in working with people who are prone to falls has given St. Barnabas special expertise in this area. Call them at 724-443-0700 and learn about ways that you can begin to feel more confident and safe, including suggestions that you can implement right now into your daily routine. Call St. Barnabas at 724-443-0700. For many years now, St. Barnabas has been helping people fall in love, that is, with their new, better life, a longer life, a risk-free life. Call St. Barnabas now at 724-443-0700 or visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com and learn more about living longer and better.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
Partly sunny and a bit breezy today. We could see some wind gusts as high as 20 miles per hour. We'll reach a high near 68. Clear and cool again tonight. Will drop down to a low of 49. Sunshine tomorrow. We'll see a high of 71 and an overnight low of just about 50. A lovely day expected on Thursday, a little warmer with sunny skies. Look for a high of 76 and a low of 52. And the sunshine continues on Friday. We'll reach a high near 82. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
On this Tuesday, August the 20th of 2024 at 9:10, we've currently got a temperature of 60 degrees in Beaver County. That's a look at the news for now. I am Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP, also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Teleforum is on the air on Beaver County Radio, 99.3 FM and 1230 WBVP. The show is presented by East Rochester and Tusca Shop and Saves. And now, here is the host of the show, Eddie Crow.
It just occurred to me we might need to do some musical work because it is an absolute shame that my next guest doesn't have his own musical introduction. I mean, you got Donnie Iris there, and that's good. That's great. But Tom Young of First Consultants is my guest. It's 11 minutes after 9. We're hitting the ground running. This is on Facebook. This is being live fed. Tom's currently demonstrating, I don't know, that looked like a robosaurus.
Oh, you said running, so, you know.
All right. Yeah, we got to come up with a theme song for you.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I like it.
It's a good idea.
All right.
I want to talk to Frank about that.
No, we'll sit down. We don't need nobody's help. All you need is 3 chords and a bottle of whiskey, and you're a country star, my friend.
Oh, well, okay.
All right.
Hey, everybody, I'm Tom Young, and I'm here to enlighten you, scare you maybe today, but give you hope. The key is hope. I own First Consultants in Beaver. I'm author of several books. I've had several articles published around the world dealing with money and finance. I'm a professional speaker, so if you're looking for a unique speaker, I'm here. And nonprofit organizations, I do not charge a fee. And everything leans towards a Christian approach to life and a Christian approach to success in what we're doing. We're going to talk about the 4 rules today. We're going to talk about Nasara Jasara today, because every day I'm looking at things and it just seems to be getting closer and closer. I'm going to talk about the Federal Reserve today and how those people are just losing money by tankfuls, $1 trillion every 90 days. We want to start every program with a prayer for everybody. The world needs God's prayers, needs all of our prayers. We pray for those that have had their health impaired by the COVID virus that came through a couple of years ago. People have lost loved ones, so we pray for a healing for the people that have had their health impaired. We pray for those who have been lost, that the Lord would open his arms and gather them into his kingdom of heaven above. We pray for Russia and Ukraine. What is going on there is it's ridiculous that, you know, nobody is sitting down at a table to try to solve the differences. They just keep destruction ongoing and killing people. So we need to pray that somehow these people would sit at a peace table and solve the problem that's causing all this. We add Israel to our prayers, the people of Israel, the Jewish people, God's children. What happened on October 7th is unconscionable. That's all I'll say. And whatever those folks get because of that, they surely deserve it. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
You know, Eddie, it's funny. I was in Tennessee last week for a couple of days with one of my mentors, Don Blanton, Don Buddy. And I've known this guy for 40 years.
You've spoken of him many times.
He's amazing. And I'm going to talk about the program he created. Now, the type of planning I do is unique. You know, at First Consultants, we look for efficiency of money. I'll call it that. That's my description of what I do. Because people lose money unknowingly, unnecessarily every day because of the way we have been programmed to think. You know, we've talked about the 4 rules of the financial world.
I know these.
I want all your money. I want more ongoing. I want to keep it forever, and I want to give back as little as possible. And the key ingredient to that are what is known as qualified plans. Now, what is qualified plans? That's your 401k at work, IRA, 403b, 457 plan, which is what like the post office, the government employees have. But it's a way to take your pay and you dedicate money to be put away before tax. And they call it tax deferred. I call it tax postponement. You know, if that leads me to the Federal Reserve and what's going on, Do you really think taxes in the future are going to be higher, the same, or lower than they are today, Eddie?
They ain't going to be lower.
We're over the threshold of $35 trillion of debt at the U.S. government, and I believe there's a meaning in that, because I believe that has become the switch to turn on a lot of things that are going to happen that may not be so nice, but if I can put hope in your heart, that the hope is that when things start to unwind, don't panic, don't get afraid. It is only the beginning of fixing things that have been so far out of kilter for a long time and going further and further away. I mean, did your kindergartner get to enjoy the party at school with the transgender guys coming in and doing the drag show? This kind of stuff that's going on in America, I don't know. Maybe I'm just an old fogey, Eddie, but I have beliefs in my heart that it's not supposed to be this way.
I don't believe it's as bad as we get convinced of it. I'm not talking bad. Bad's bad. It's not. There are things that seem much more prevalent than they are because of the amplification of social media. That's how I keep hope.
I agree with that. When I ride around town and that, I don't walk around with fear in my heart of what I believe is coming. I walk around with expectation and hope in my heart because I know and believe God is in control. Jesus Christ is going to come again. When? I don't know. I'm not predicting that. But we know and can have hope in that. And because of that, I have an expectation. If you got up tomorrow morning and you turned on your TV and it was a blue and green colored monochrome screen with EBS on it, and it was, and here's the message: stay home and don't do anything for the next couple weeks.
Tom, you don't have to turn on your TV. What you're talking about?
We don't be blowing on the sirens. Eddie.
No, they will turn the TV on for you. Seriously,
that's true too. They can do that.
Yes,
they can control your cell phone. They know where you're at, whether your phone is turned on or turned off.
Absolutely.
These folks can come and find you, and they know exactly where you are and can come and get you. They've already proven that. So if we talk about the 4 rules, let's think about this NESARA idea. Where did it come from, first of all?
Please explain, because you've talked about it before, but for people that don't know what that word is,
NESARA is the National Economic Security and Reformation Act.
Okay.
And it was, this paper that I have was written in the late 90s, okay? The late 90s. And if you want to hear more about it, go to YouTube and put in Dr. Scott Young, not related in any way. He is an audiologist, but he writes books on this stuff. He has been following it for a long time. And he does these 20, 30-minute talks. He talks about executive orders that none of us know what they are. There was one that he talked about was Executive Order 13818, which was an executive order that was created by Donald Trump.
13818.
3818. So I have not looked it up yet. I was just listening to this last night, to this Dr. Scott Young last night talking about NESARA and the implementation of it and what it could mean and what it's going to do. I'm going to read a couple of things on the list. Now, when this was originally created, there is a lot of conspiracy theory, and what I'm going to read to you is said to be a conspiracy theory. They say it doesn't exist, but I'm sitting here looking at it. I printed it out, and I've heard it discussed by some very, very prominent people. So I have what I call the 3-dot theory. When I see something that is outlandish or strange, I have to connect 3 dots. In other words, I have to find information from at least 2 other sources in order to verify for me. And as I talk today, I'm going to give you links. I want you, don't believe anything I say, but I want you to look up and find out for yourself. Because a person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. And I'm not here to convince you of anything. I'm just here to provide information that I believe is relevant to what is going on in our country right now and literally around the world, because I believe this is already happening. You see gold. I was watching a video last night about gold, and this expert about gold said that we're going to hit $26 an ounce. $2,600 an ounce. That's better, Eddie. $2,600 an ounce, possibly by the end of the year, and $2,700. And they say it may go to $5,000, $6,000, or $10,000 for an ounce of gold. Now, why is that happening? Why does a commodity like gold go up in price, Eddie?
Why am I melting all my old cruddy jewelry in my head right now? It goes up in price because somebody is willing to pay for it.
Somebody's buying it. In other words, there are countries around the world. China has purchased more gold recently than they ever purchased before. So they're out there. Countries are buying it. England and Germany both in the last 10 years moved all of their gold reserve out of the Bank of New York back to their resident countries.
Oh, keeping it at home.
So let's just look at little ripples in the water out there. What is going on out there in the water that is so clandestine and nobody really sees what's going on? So why would countries all of a sudden want the gold back in their own country? I believe it's because...
Same reason I want my wallet in my pocket.
There are new currencies going to be issued by a lot of these countries. The way we have the system now, we have fiat currency, which is based on debt. That's what our currency is. The Federal Reserve note is based on debt. If they need more money, they just print it up. How does the Federal Reserve put money in the marketplace? Well, they buy bonds. They buy assets out of the marketplaces. They bought mortgages for a while there. They were buying mortgages to put more money back in the banks so the banks would have money to loan out to people to keep the system going. But all of this debt mountain keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The unfunded liability isn't debt, but it's a government obligation to pay Social Security, Medicare Part A, B, and D, all the benefits and pensions for all the 23 million government employees and all the military.
What does it count for? Future debt? Because if you know the bill's coming,
it's money that is obligated to be paid in the future, and if there's no money to pay it, they got to borrow and print the money and borrow it to pay it.
Secondhand debt.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that number is now at $218 trillion.
I'm busted.
How do you comprehend that? I don't know how to explain it, but my brother and I were having a conversation.
Okay.
$1 million is 1,000 thousands.
Okay.
Okay.
100,000 would be 10. So all right, a million is 1,000 thousand.
Okay.
Got it.
1,000 thousand. $1 billion is 1,000 million.
It jumps up exponentially quick, don't it? A trillion. Go ahead.
And what is 1,000 billion, Eddie? $1 trillion. Now, how do you break that down in equation? I've seen things where if you do $1 a minute, it goes back before the dinosaurs.
How long it takes? Yeah.
It's mind-boggling. Now, NESARA, what the purpose of NESARA is to bring things back into reality. And reality is not what we see right now. With the debt and everything going on, NESARA would zero out all credit cards and mortgages and other debt.
This is the great reset.
I'm reading it right off of what this says. Now, if you'd like a copy of this, email me at firedupt@comcast.net. I will gladly send you a copy of this, what I'm going to talk about here for a few minutes. So these are the things that are planned to happen when NESARA, and it's NESARA GSARA. G is Global Economic Security and Reformation. Okay, it's not recovery. Reformation. In other words, there's going to be a reformation of our government, of the money, of everything.
The great reset.
Zeroes out all credit card, mortgage, and other bank debt due to illegal banking and government activities. This is the Federal Reserve's worst nightmare, a jubilee of forgiveness of debt. Now, that is, I have to talk about that, because the problem we have is we have people in our society the largest percentage of 90-some percent, 95, 97%, they live their life on debt.
Yes.
They don't save money. They have little discipline at saving. So their current lifestyle is at war with their future lifestyle that they're hoping to have someday. But if I'm not putting any money way towards the future lifestyle, then the future lifestyle is going to be not what we hope and think it's going to be. Does that make sense, Eddie?
It's trying to grow something without planting the seeds.
Exactly. And so I have programs. When I go through this with people, I put all of their information in my software, and I call it running the movie. You run the movie and say, okay, here's what your movie is going to look like based on this information and some assumptions we're going to make, whether it's interest rates, tax rates, or whatever, and we're going to get a clear picture of what your future financial situation is going to look like. And my hope is with people that I meet sometimes, I don't touch people, I don't hit people, shake people. I try to emotionally awaken them so that they can accept what's going on and say, hey, I've been doing this wrong for a while. I show people how to save astonishing amounts of money by the efficiency approach. I never ask for people money out of their lifestyle. I find the money that's going through. Now, if you're at poverty level or your income is there, then maybe you got to consider a part-time job or do something to make more money. There are people that are below that level, and there's nothing. You can't carve anything out, okay?
All right.
And I see the news is coming up. What do we got, Eddie? A couple minutes?
Got about a minute, but how many people come to you and this? Think about this during the news, because this, I can't imagine, it's a short answer, because you deal with this every day. Tom Young, First Consultants, is my guest. How many people come to you, not, I don't want to say stupid, but ignorant of this? They don't know what they don't know.
Let's define ignorant.
They don't know what they don't know.
They are unknowing of the truth.
Yes.
Let's just say it simply, because the system is stacked against us. Everything from and I'll talk about more of this in the next segment, because I want to get into this, Nassar, deeper, and I want to talk about what I can do as an individual to help me survive this. So let's take a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to light up the sky.
Football season is in full swing, and so are the deals on F-Series trucks at Moon Township Ford. Stop in now and save up to $4,000 in dealer discounts on America's #1 selling truck, the Ford F-150, plus additional rebates which everyone qualifies for, and rates as low as 0%. No matter where you go, the Ford F-150 is the quintessential American truck to take you to the football field or anywhere you want to go. No wonder that it's the most popular vehicle sold in the U.S., and you can save up to $5,000 in dealer discounts on America's toughest player on the field, the Super Duty. It's all part of the August Spectacular going on now at Moon Township Ford. Not everyone will qualify. Please see dealer for additional details. Rates are offered through Ford Motor Credit and are with approved credit. Moon Township Ford, University Boulevard across from Robert Morris.
Falcone's Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
The big issue this year isn't whether or not to close the border. This is Cindy Hiladio from Friendly Federal Credit Union. And quite frankly, I'm not sure why people are worried whether or not folks go back and forth from Eloquipper to Center Township, or even across the river from Ambridge to South Heights. What's the big deal anyway? The real issue is what group you are with. I recommend Friendly Federal Credit Union. Whether you like to visit the right, the left, or even the center of our teller counter, we welcome your input, or should I say deposits. Join the party, the celebration that happens every day when our member owners benefit by helping each other. This is Cindy Hiladio, and I approve this message. And later on, I'll probably approve a loan or two. Friendly Federal Credit Union, member NCUA, equal housing lender.
Friendly Federal Credit Union, you got a friend.
Let's face it, work is a large part of your life. Why not choose a job that allows the opportunity of a fulfilling career working with people who appreciate you? St. Barnabas Health System is looking for extraordinary, service-minded people to join our team. Earn and learn with career opportunities on our clinical, housekeeping, and food service teams. For more information and to apply, visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com or call 724-444-JOBS. Jobs that are apart from the ordinary. Find them at St. Barnabas Health System.
Football season is here, and East Rochester and Tuska Shop and Save is your tailgate headquarters. With all the food and beverages you need to make your tailgates and game day parties the best in town. Fire up the grill with their top quality meats, delicious burgers, hot dogs, and chicken wings. Get your cheese and meat platters, dips, and all your game day snacks. Check out their wide variety of wines and the beer cave. Don't miss out on amazing weekly specials and save money at the pump with every dollar you spend. Stop by your Shop and Save at the Tuska Plaza or East Rochester today for everything you need this football season.
Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Good morning, everyone. I am Noah Haswell here on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP. We can expect partly sunny skies today with a high of 68 degrees. We will have a complete Beaver County weather forecast, but for now, here's a look at news. 2 men were arrested in Aliquippa on Saturday for getting away in a Jeep. Police were called for shots being fired. However, a noise similar to shattering glass caught the attention of a bystander before noticing a white Jeep on the 1200 block of McMinn Street. After officers closed in on the Jeep, the passenger inside, identified as Javier Lowe, ran away from them. Police then said they suspiciously discovered findings like money, drug, pills, and a loaded weapon. Lowe was arrested along with Javon Lewis, who was driving the Jeep. Possession of drug paraphernalia, multiple counts of controlled substances, and running after being caught are Lowe's charges, while Lewis faces a charge of owning a firearm without a license. Monaca will be receiving a new charging station for electric vehicles thanks to funding. According to PennDOT, the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure gave $7 million to develop this new station at the get-go near Exit 39 in Center Township. The new electric station is the 6th one available currently in Beaver County, and the project is part of a 5-year span for PennDOT to earn $171.5 million to advance the framework for electric vehicles in the future. GetGo has been sold by Giant Eagle to the Canadian conglomerate Couche-Tard, which is an operation of convenience stores and gas stations. GetGo is being sold because of the goal to place emphasis on the MyPerks program and its expansion. Approval is needed from the Federal Trade Commission, and the sale will be in its closing stages in 2025. Bridgewater is about to hit the mini golf putting greens as they host their second annual Bridgewater Open from noon to 5 p.m. on August the 31st, as the event will be a fundraiser for the nonprofit Legacies Alive, who supports those who lost loved ones who served in the military. Businesses throughout Bridgewater will have their own custom holes as a walk-through mini golf course will be held throughout the area. The entrance fee is $200 for foursomes, and you can register by calling 724-728-0222. Kennywood, the beloved amusement park, may not be a bar, but they are inviting park goers to a 21 and over night for one night only. Kennywood on August 30th will provide a closer look at their Scary Fall Phantom Fall Festival Fest experiences and admission to popular rides, including the Jackrabbit for park goers. They will also be invited to a Halloween party with both a DJ and alcoholic beverages, but only if they show their ID and possess a provided wristband before the park closes at 10 p.m. There will also be late-night fun with activities after midnight. The TSA at Pittsburgh International Airport have intercepted another gun on Sunday. An Indiana County man was caught with a loaded .38 caliber firearm and a total of 12 bullets, 6 exposed and 6 in the gun's magazine, in his luggage. Security had to stop their X-ray machine until the gun was taken away from the luggage. Airport passengers could be fined up to $15,000 for going through TSA security with a weapon in their baggage.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
Partly sunny and a bit breezy today. We could see some wind gusts as high as 20 miles per hour. We'll reach a high near 68. Clear and cool again tonight. Will drop down to a low of 49. Sunshine tomorrow, we'll see a high of 71 and an overnight low of just about 50. A lovely day expected on Thursday, a little warmer with sunny skies. Look for a high of 76 and a low of 52. And the sunshine continues on Friday. We'll reach a high near 82. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
On this Tuesday, August the 20th of 2024 at 9:35, we've currently got a temperature of 60 degrees here in Beaver County. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP, also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Talk about what's happening in Beaver County or around the world on Teleforum. 724-843-1888. 724-774-1888. It's Teleforum with Eddie Crow.
Well, it's way better than Teleforum. I mean, there are days I'm okay. There are days that I'm not. But when Tom's here, I just get out of the way. Tom Young of First Consultants. I guess technically you're my guest, but I don't think of you as a guest. You've filled in for me more than once.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're just a guy. This is how you get dragged into radio. Tom.
You know, Eddie,
keep showing up.
I love to talk.
Yeah.
And I really work hard at trying to, again, what I call my 3-dot method. When I talk about this stuff that I'm talking about, I have multiple sources of information. It isn't just my interpretation. But let me say this up front, folks. I mean, this is really my opinion of what has come from what I have researched and learned. And I always tell people to do your own research. You know, the NESARA thing, and it's talking about a jubilee of debt forgiveness. We were talking about people. And okay, all of a sudden here you are, your debt is gone. Now, how could that happen? Because the Federal Reserve is going to be gone in the U.S. We're going to a currency that is going to be backed by gold, silver, and precious metals. The name that I have, and I have this, I found this in several places, called rainbow currency. So my interpretation. Rainbow currency. My interpretation is how this is going to happen is the banks are going to close. That's that EBS. Here's the message. Stay home.
We've already seen that.
Don't come out. Stay in your house. Stay home, and stay out of the street because the military is going to take over what's going on. Now, how is that going to come to be? I believe they're already printing this currency somewhere in the U.S. or in Europe. It's already being printed. You know, the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and 50 or 60 other countries are forming their own organization that is going to have their own currency to be used for goods and services around the world. So they are working hard at squeezing our dollar out of being the world currency. I mean, there are several countries in the world, big countries, that use our currency as their currency.
Is that what happened when OPEC said we're no longer going to pay attention to the dollar first? Was that part of it?
I believe that is part of it. With Saudi Arabia, didn't sign the document, so I understand they did not sign on. So the dollar is no longer the petrodollar.
That's right.
The petrodollar is what it was called.
It's like a dollar, but it smells and lights on fire quicker.
So after all this happens, now today, if you go to the bank to get a loan, you have a credit score.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe, in my interpretation of what I've heard from Dr. Scott Young on YouTube, the future is going to be about your cash flow budget. In other words, you're going to have to prove that you have the money to pay loans back. It's going to be a different system than what we have now. Instead of having a credit score, like 600, you wouldn't be able to get a loan. Okay? 830 or 840 is the top of the score. And
is it really?
Yes. So, so you have anything, 780 and up, you're usually pretty good at that point in time. But that's how we measure it today. So I take this, and if we go to the Federal Reserve, what's going on at the Federal Reserve? And the Federal Reserve right now is underwater. And they did it to themselves. Now, how can this be, Tom? If you remember the SVB, Silicon Valley Bank last year, and several other banks went under. How does a bank go under? They have a core reserve in the bank called Tier 1 capital. That's that pure reserve in the bank. Like, we know the story in 1929. Everybody went to the bank to get their money, and it was only 10 cents on the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't any different today, folks. If everybody went to the bank, your bank, and said, look, I want all my cash, they don't have it. It's not there. And the cash is getting lower and lower in the banks. The lady that works for me last year at Christmas time in October, November, she went to a local bank here in the Valley to get $2,500 cash for Christmas, for gifts and whatever. Right. And it took a week for her to get $2,500. The bank did not have $2,500 in cash in the bank to give her.
Oh, no. Well, all right, I guess
that's a fact. That happened. That's real.
I'm getting money from my bank. And I believe that's we're on the
verge right now, because as people get into this, it's going to cause more people to take money out of their bank. I want cash. See, when the rainbow currency comes, the banks are going to close. When they reopen, they're going to have rainbow currency. And you're going to be able to take your fiat currency, the current reserve notes, to the bank and trade it for rainbow currency. Now, the good thing about that is this.
It sounds like script change in the military.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so why is this a good thing? Now, this is nothing new, because this has been talked about for decades. The government creating a brand new currency, and you have to trade in your old currency for the new currency. Mm-hmm. And you think of all those uncanny people that have bales of capital laying around. You know, those kind of people that they work outside of the law, and they have these bales of $100 bills, and that, you know, what we've seen in the movies is real.
Got mason jars full of cash buried in the backyard.
Well, no, I don't think that's the problem.
No?
I think it's the drugs in
well, there's that.
The drug dealers and all the criminals have mountains and truckloads of cash.
It's a cash business.
Well, how do you go to the bank and trade in your cash? Because you have to tell the bank where the money came from. If I go into the bank and I got $100 million, and I want to trade it for rainbow currency, where did you get that $100 million at? I just been saving it over my lifetime. You know, it's my retirement plan.
I've been thrifty.
This is the kind of stuff that's going to come out of this. So it's going to clean the clock, in my opinion. It's going to clean the clock. Now, the next thing, it's going to abolish the IRS. Who would not vote? I want the IRS to go away. How many people would say yay?
Whole lot of hands would go up.
Yay! Yeah. The IRS is going away, and the employees of the IRS are going to move to the Treasury Department. We're going to move to a flat sales tax. Now, Forbes has been talking about this for decades. These aren't new ideas, folks. This is stuff that's been bandied around for decades about moving. Now, I have a software program. I can mathematically prove that a flat tax of around 12 to 14% would maximize your wealth as well as the tax money for the federal government. Because when the taxes are too high, it takes money out of the machine, out of the capital machine. You know, we have a capitalistic society.
Yes, we do.
And we have people that are trying to make us socialists and get rid of the capitalistic system. But the capitalistic system is what created the wealth and success of America today. Because it rewards the people that are willing to do what others won't do. Create a product, come up with an idea, a service, or something that everybody would want. That's really, capitalism is putting money to work. So the higher the tax, the less capital's in the machine, and therefore it slows the machine down. And we know that when Trump lowered the tax rates, this current tax code that we're in, that has a sunset provision in 2025. So we're going to go back to higher taxes. We're going to go back to estate taxes. If these tax code currently out there that is temporary with a sunset provision in 2025, if it isn't made permanent. And now just think about that. I saw on the other day, I was looking at the U.S. debt clock, and I have the numbers here somewhere. I'll look at them. I know the unfunded liability went to $218 trillion. 2 months ago it was 217, so it went up $1 trillion in 2 months.
Tom, what's a trillion here or there?
What's a trillion here or there? I understand that.
Supersize it.
But no matter what anybody says, you cannot look and discard the results that Trump created. He lowered the taxes and the revenue got bigger. That is a fact. And these people that say it isn't, show me the numbers. I have seen them. And right now on the debt clock, I saw the revenue was at $5 trillion.
That ain't enough.
And now I understand because they spent 7.2.
Yeah.
We're $2.2 trillion borrowed right now. I mean, the government ends in September. The fiscal year is September 30th. Okay? So right now, everything the government is paying for is paying for it with borrowed money. They have no money.
That comes due.
So that's where we're at. And on here it says creates a 14% flat tax, increases benefits to senior citizens, creates a new U.S. Treasury rainbow currency backed by gold, silver, and platinum precious metals, ending the bankruptcy of the United States initiated by Franklin Roosevelt, 1933. America was bankrupt in 1933.
So we're going to end the oncoming second bankruptcy by just declaring new game?
Well,
That's what it sounds like.
Everything is going to change. There's going to be new elections. Within 120 days after Nassar's announcement, the interim government will cancel all national emergencies, return us back to constitutional law. Where's it at? The IRS transferred U.S. Treasury, national sales tax area, create 14% tax, increase benefits, reinstates the original title of nobility amendment. Hundreds of thousands of Americans under the control of foreign powers will lose their citizenship, be deported to other countries, and barred from re-entry for the remainder of their life. Millions of people will soon discover their college degrees are now worthless.
Mine already is, but
establishes
thanks.
new presidential and congressional elections within 120 days. Monitors elections, prevents illegal election activity, and special interest groups. And this brings me to QFS Technologies. The quantum financial system is already there. It has already been created. It is operating in Europe. I already own some rainbow currency in a digital wallet. The currency is going to be digital as well as paper. I mean, we have digital now. I mean, you can pay for things with a card. You don't need cash to pay for something today.
No,
but
some places don't take
The quantum
cash.
computer has the capability times thousands to handle all the transactions around the world. And my digital wallet, it has 12 individual unrelated passwords to get into it. I mean, you talk about protection. This new system is going to be unhackable by anything or anybody.
Do you think that the average American person is going to be that trusting of anything that they can't hold in their hand?
You can't go there because it's going to take time, Eddie.
Okay.
It's just going to take time before people start to realize that this had to happen. I mean, there's no reason in my mind where last month, and I think I mentioned this last month, that there is a program called a Monte Carlo simulation. Now, what is a Monte Carlo simulation? It is a computer program that takes data, like I do retirement planning, and I can take your data and put it into this Monte Carlo program, and it'll tell me the percentage chance of what you're doing will complete and reach your goal. Does that make sense?
It's like, here's the plan. Okay,
here's your plan,
70%
and it
shot.
runs millions of iterations. In other words, we're talking, it may take it several minutes to run the analysis.
Okay.
And it comes up at the end and it says, well, you have a 94% chance of reaching your goal with your current plan.
Your current plan is crap, 50-50.
Yeah, because it looks at
that.
all of what the stock market's doing. It's what all the in other words, it looks at all of those and creates millions of simulations testing. Is this one going to work? Is this one going to work? And on and on and on. Well, they did one with the Federal Reserve. There is no solution to the Federal Reserve. The Monte Carlo simulation, after hours of running, could not come up with a scenario that would work.
0.0.
Zero success with the current debt and unfunded liability of the United States. And you know what? We're not the only country, because this is the same thing that's going on around the world. Very same thing.
Is this a good thing or a bad thing or just a confusing thing? Because if it's a universal thing, it doesn't sound like we're going to have much
I don't
option.
think good or bad is the question, Eddie.
Okay.
I think success, in other words, can we get out of the debacle that we are in right now?
Will it work?
Well, I mean, I don't, everything that I've read, it covers it.
Okay.
It covers it. And until we get rid of, now, I'll bring up the Brunson case. Our Supreme Court, there was a case in the Supreme Court. It's called the Brunson case. They originally filed it, and the Supreme Court pushed it back. Then they refiled it. Now, what is the Brunson case? The Brunson brothers, they are suing the federal government, exactly 376 politicians, that they would be removed from their position because of their failure to comply with their oath of office. Now, what happened? Now, everybody talks about January 6th and insurrection. It was a riot, in my opinion, Tom's opinion, that was instigated by people that were planted in the crowd. I'm sorry. We've seen too much evidence. The Epstein guy, whatever, Epps, where's he at? And we got video of him coaching people. Hey, you got to go, and nothing. So that just confirms for me. I heard yesterday on Bongino, that now they suspect that one of those bombs near the DNC in Washington
that everybody's
was laid
forgotten.
there by a CIA person. That's why they knew it was there, and nobody reacted to it when they found it. If you watch the video and listen to the story, you know that.
Yeah, it just was there.
So here we are, and now the electors, the politicians, the senators and the congressmen, they're in this thing. They're going to approve the Electoral College, right?
Right.
That was their job.
Right.
So in trying to approve the Electoral College, initially when they got together, there was 100 senators and congresspersons that objected. There was something that went wrong. There was something that was fraudulent. We want an investigation. Now, that's a fact. That was going on in this meeting. And then all of a sudden, the incursion occurred into the Capitol. And what happened, Eddie? They run them all out. All the politicians left. But what happened later? They came back. And in a hurry, in a rush, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, here it is, boom, it's done. But nobody went back to look at what 100 politicians objected to. It was overlooked, blah, blah, blah. So the Brunson case is a lawsuit against all the politicians that voted yes without the investigation because they were in violation of their oath of office to protect the United States Constitution against enemies, foreign and domestic.
Yeah.
So the NESARA thing, and I'll throw this out and you'll say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. But I'm looking and in every state at the politicians, there are arrest warrants. They're locked in a box. When this comes about, there are going to be a lot of politicians that are going to be in hot water.
Where are they at? No, I don't mean the politicians.
I don't know where they're at, Eddie,
okay.
but these are indictments that are signed indictments that are in a sealed location right now until this door opens. When this door opens on NESARA, the military is going to start arresting people. Some of these people, they're going to be in trouble because they violated federal law. But some of these people violated their oath of office, and they could be charged with treason. That is what I believe is coming. So,
is there a timeline in your mind?
I've heard 2 or 3. I don't want to throw a timeline out.
Okay.
I really don't. I mean, the number right now that's coming across everything is in a couple weeks at the end of August.
End of August. But I believe that this is going to explode before the election. So end of August is one, and
Between then and
November
election day.
5th.
Right.
All right.
Folks, I hope this was interesting. I mean, I have lots of information. If you want to contact me, if you want to find how to survive this with yourself, I have my 4 rules. You got to get to saving 20% of your income. You got to save 50% of your cash equal to your household income. You got to get out of consumer debt. And you have to learn how to think like a CFO to manage your household and teach this to your children. I'm Tom Young. You can find me at First Consultants in Beaver, PA, 724-728-6820. Come and spend 45 minutes with me. I won't ask you to buy a thing, and I guarantee you, I personally guarantee you, you will be glad you came and visited. God bless.
If you own a company or a small business, you might have considered advertising on radio. It's smart because radio is still the most far-reaching media outlet